What's going on, guys? It's Cryptic TMG and I'm back with another race from the AOR GT3 Elite League. This is round 4 at Silverstone, and accidentally I actually messed up saving quali. I double tapped the share button after quali, so it means I missed the whole quali session, which you didn't really miss nothing much apart from seeing me choke. Probably on the lap that I was on, probably would have got either 4th or 5th, I think, but I ended up spinning at the end of the back straight. But yeah, that means I started 2nd from last, and pretty difficult position for me to be starting. But I knew with the conditions, like, there will be parts of the race that are quite tricky because there was 4 weather conditions, and it was going to go from sort of overcast to medium cloud to light cloud to clear, and my tyre pressures were sort of set up for the warmer conditions at the end of the race. And first few laps I knew were going to be pretty sketchy, and now I was starting back down the field. It was going to be even worse because obviously I'd have to get through people. But as per usual, we're doing the manual rolling start, and as we're coming up to the last sort of section of the track, I'm just thinking, try not get into any sort of scuffles, try not get any damage, just try and keep your nose clean. So I didn't actually push too hard. I just tried to make sure that I was in a position where I could overtake if anyone had a sort of off, but I didn't want to sort of get any damage at all because I knew my race would just be screwed. But you can see we get a decent start, but we just back off, we just let the guys in front go, and we just hold back a little bit. You see a few people go wide, someone's dropped it there, I think on the Nissan GTR. I'm not sure if he fully dropped it, but yeah, I mean, really bumpy out there. But we're taking it nice and easy, nice and steady into this first section of the lap, and you can see people going off left, right and centre, and this is why I didn't sort of just try and shove my car down the inside. And you can see I think that's Fogarty just ahead of us, and he's got a decent run at that corner. We back out of it a little bit just to give him some room, and he goes on the grass there, so we get a decent run as he gets slowed down as he goes on the grass. And we're going to go for this move down the inside, but even then he brakes a lot late. I knew on the first lap when your tyres are cold, the car is a bit sketchy, but you can see then Fogarty goes off in front of us, and then Rogers goes off in front of us on the other side, and it's just opening lap is a little bit of carnage. And managed to get up to 8th position. I think I started 11th, so wasn't too bad. Obviously championship rival CJ is leading the race at this point. He qualified on pole position, so I'm losing a hell of a lot of points at the moment, but I just try to keep on the track. You can see there how light the car is, and I think Casely spins there. I'm not sure if he had contact with the wall, at least I don't think he did, but he drops it in the same place. And yeah, the car was really tricky to drive at the start of the race. I'd purposely set my car up for the second half of the race, and the first sort of 15-20 minutes of the race was sort of all about just surviving the way how the car handles with no grip. But you can see we're pushing, but we can't even catch up to, I think is his name Nene or Nene ahead of us. We couldn't catch him up. We just had no grip. And yeah, I mean, I was driving so far away from my potential just because of how bad we were struggling with like track conditions and just grip. And you can see behind us Rogers is pretty much all over us, and I think I'm losing time to Nene. So yeah, it was crazy. I was trying to stay consistent, but the car was just, I don't know, it was really tricky. It wasn't this tricky when I practiced, but it just seemed to just, like, it was just no grip. And sometimes I would go into corners and the back end would snap, and then it was just, oh, it was crazy. So much oversteer. But the main thing for me was just don't make a mistake. I know if I don't bin it, at least I know at the second half of the race, when the track warms up, I know I've got a chance to make up some positions. I was definitely aiming still, probably for a top 4 position if I could just keep it on the track. And you can see there in front of us, that's CJ. CJ's binned it in the lead, so he's made a mistake. So that's helped our championship out quite a lot actually, because obviously if he was to go on and just escape into the distance, it would be a lot harder for me to sort of put up a challenge to him in the championship, hard enough as it is already. So he's managed to quickly get past Nene after spinning, and we're closing up on the back finally of the Ferrari in front. But it's just, I don't know, it's as if the downforce from the front of your car just disappears when you're behind someone. And you'll see now as I'm going through some of these corners while I'm following, it's just absolutely no downforce. Watch this as I go through turn 1, the car just wants to snap on me. As soon as I get there and the car just starts sliding, it's like, wow. I didn't really know what to make of that. Every time I got close, it was just the same sort of thing. Now we got Casey behind us in the Porsche, and yeah, I felt like I was holding people up. And that's how slow I was. I didn't have any damage whatsoever. My tires looked as if they were in a good range, but I honestly just had no grip, and I was so far down on what I could do in race pace wise. I could get sort of 201.6s in the race, like a good lap for me, but I could generally manage like 202, 202.0s, 201.8s. That was sort of where I was expecting my race pace to be, but wow, I was just so far away. I think I was stuck in 2-minute 3s, 2-minute 4s, which is pretty crazy because it's a good 2 and a bit seconds slower. But nevertheless, we'll carry on. We'll just try and make the time up when we can, or when the car comes back to us. But you can see us there, the back end just stepping out all over the place, and I couldn't even fathom. I couldn't understand what was going on with the car. The setup was dialed in. I probably could have done a little bit more work on the tire pressures, but even so, the tire pressures weren't terrible. Especially for this part of the race, the tire pressures I didn't think were too bad. But you can see me there just trying to move the brake bias towards the front, just to do anything to stop the car from sliding, stepping out all over the place. And catching up to Nene, but every time we get anywhere near the back of his car, it's just oversteer, panic stations. Felt like I was going to drop it, so I was trying to think, I need to close up to him in a corner where the car can at least stay stable, so I can at least attack or do something, because now I feel like I'm getting held up. But I feel it's almost like F1 in 2018, where you just can't follow the car in front. That's how it felt for me. But forwarding now to lap 5, we're going to go through Maggots and Beckett's here. We're still pretty much on his tail, just hanging back, trying to make sure we just don't make a mistake. But I could tell through certain sections I was just way quicker, and as the track was slowly warming up, the car was feeling a little bit better, but still felt a little bit dodgy in other people's slipstream. And all the guys behind me, you can see them pretty much in the train. They're still sort of battling. They're still right behind me, so I can't afford to make a mistake. And Nene goes wide, and we try to close down them a little bit. But obviously I knew that with the Ferrari, you got to be right tucked right underneath the back of the Ferrari to like get a good pass on a Ferrari driver. Even if it's not one of the fastest guys, it's still a pretty hard car to overtake. But heading on now towards lap 6, and I was just thinking, please just get out of my way. I was looking at the gap in front, and I'm thinking, wow, I'm not going to get 4th here, because they're pulling quite a big gap, and I know there's not going to be any pit stops. I just wanted to see what my pace would be in clear air once I'd finally got rid of him, because I felt like the car was coming to me a little bit more, and he was just holding me up by this time. But as I said, it was just so hard to get close. And we get a decent run off there, but even so, we knew we wouldn't really, in the Renault, you're not really going to be overtaking people in a straight line unless they make a mistake going into a corner or something like that. So you kind of got to get everything done in the corners. But he goes wide there, so I try to cut back, and then from nowhere he just drops it right in front of us. We hit the back of him, collect the back of his car, get 7 damage, and I just knew at this point it was pretty much just race over. 7% damage is that's night and day on this game. And I thought that I can't even pit because the pit lane around Silverstone is so long. I'm just gonna lose so much time. So I just thought, wow, this is crazy. And then to compound matters, I go into cops, and the understeer just hit me, and I'm just like, wow. Like in my head I'm thinking my race is over. I'm going to be slow down the straight, and I'm already slow. So obviously I lift to give back the time so I don't get a penalty. And Rogers goes past us in the BMW, and I thought that would be the last I'm seeing of him, because yeah, car's a lot faster in a straight line, especially now with the damage. But then all of a sudden he drops it as well, and we tried to dodge him, and we just clip his car, and it said we didn't get any damage. But I don't know. I don't know if we did or if we didn't. I tried to squeeze Nene a little bit, because I didn't want to be behind him again. But he managed to get back through. So now it's just like, oh, you can't be serious. You cannot be serious. This race is just going from bad to worse. Had a poor quali, not a bad start to the race, but with all these spinners in front of me, and I'm just not managing to avoid them properly. But yeah, later on that lap, Nene in front of us, and this is the corner where he spun before, and he sort of goes a little bit wide again, but hooks it back up towards the apex, and it does the same thing again. I'm not sure if he's just stamping on the throttle way too soon, or if he's not getting on the throttle smooth enough, but it's a very weird spin he had both times, because he was sort of already through the corner. So I'm not too sure what's happening there, but I can massively it's slowed me down, and in my head I'm just thinking, wow, how am I even going to hold on to 7th? They're going to be all over me. They were already quite close to me anyway. And yeah, I just, at this point it was just like, just don't make a mistake, and if I have to finish 7th, then I'll just take it, because there's not really much else I can do. The car just, I mean, it didn't actually feel bad, but I just knew how much slower it was, and that was what was getting to me, because I knew that the car was like nowhere near where it could have been. You can see certain corners I'm just understeering, and you see Walgreen, he gets running us straight past us, and yeah, it was just like, wow. It's just getting bad from bad to worse. I managed to hold a good line through Maggots and Beckett's. I was going to try and set him up for the back straight, and I think he runs a little bit deep, gets in the grass, and then that allows us back through. And I thought, okay, if I'm going to keep this guy behind me, I've got to make sure I nail every single corner, because if he gets anywhere near me on the straight line, he's gonna blow past me. So we managed to actually make an overtaking maneuver with the damage, and when our car wasn't damaged, we couldn't do anything. So make that one out. But as I said, it was all now just about consistency and seeing if I could somehow break away from Walgreen, even though I wasn't too confident at the time. And you can see Rogers in the BMW, he's caught us back up like extremely quickly, and I just knew if he gets past, then he's going to be past me very quickly. And at this point, I wasn't even going to try and fight it. I would race. I would go as quick as I can through the corners, but if anyone caught me on the straight, then I'm just not even going to fight it, because I know that there's nothing really much I can do. The car just doesn't have the pace, especially with the damage. And but it is really frustrating when you sort of mess up qualifying, because you know the reason why you are at the back of the field and why you are with maybe some of the more inconsistent drivers is because you just messed up quali. And yeah, that sometimes it's annoying. I used to do that a lot last season in the when I was in the Audi, but I just thought the Audi was dodgy before I started putting my engine braking up. Yeah, and a lot of times you just find yourself in crashes or in situations that you probably shouldn't be in if you just practiced on quali fuel just a little bit more. But as I said, I was fine even in race with a full tank. I was doing 2:01.6s, so in quali I was expecting at least like a 2-minute 6 or 2-minute 5 or something like that, and I would have been happy with that. But I just happened to mess quali right up, and then I messed up all the other laps, and it just same issue, to be honest, just no grip. I just felt like I had no grip whatsoever. So yeah, wasn't really much I could do. There was other guys in the render that actually got in a better lap than me, and yeah, I thought, well, they must have got heat into their tires somehow. But I mean, I tried the soft tires and it felt totally odd to me, especially going through some corners where they just don't seem to work. So I stuck with the hards, and it was just, I don't know, the grip just never ever came. But as I said, even if I did quali, I probably would have got a low 201, which isn't that far. It's not that much faster than what I was doing in with fuel. So I didn't even think that was a great lap for myself. But yeah, you can see us now. We're actually still improving on our fastest lap. Just shows you how slow we've been. I mean, our fastest lap is a 2:03.5, and it's like, wow, I'm literally 2 seconds slower than what I've been before, literally. So I didn't know, man. It's just one of them races that, like, if anything could go wrong, it was going wrong. The only thing that we had in our favor was the fact that CJ wasn't leading the race, and of course, because he got pole position, he got the extra point for pole. And if he was leading the race, it'll be like, wow, he's taken a massive step towards the championship. But as it is at the moment in this race, he's in 3rd position, and I mean, it's not the worst result in the world. I'd like to somehow gather some more positions, but I mean, the cars in front there pretty much gone. You can see Infinity must have made a mistake, because I'm sure he was in the top 5, I think, and he's dropped down in front of us now. But even so, we was quite close to him, but he's just absolutely bolted, and he just couldn't do nothing. You can see my potential says like a 2015 or whatnot, and that's the kind of pace I would be expecting to run, but it just weren't happening. And Infinity drops it again. You see him coming back on the track there, and we actually get promoted up to P6, and I was like, wow, like I couldn't ask for anything more because I was so slow. And I swear on P cars, it is the most annoying thing when you know that you've got pace, but you've just got damage, and you literally are ringing the car everywhere, and it's just slow. It doesn't even feel slow, but it's just, mate, I'm telling you. In my head, I was just like, this is doing my head in. I know if I was able to at least run the pace that I could run consistently and practice that, I would have been able to make up a lot of ground on the guys in front, even after a bad qualifying. Obviously, I wouldn't have probably challenged the top 3, they would have been gone, but I feel like I would have been able to catch the rest, and mate, just absolutely ballsed it all up. But I mean, what can you do? I'm in 6th position and trying to hold on, and I thought as it gets later into the race, the car is just going to get a little bit worse, like right near the end, when the tyres are starting to give up a little bit. And I thought, with this damage, with the understeer, I just need some sort of luck just to bring it home in this position, man. I would be happy to end the race now and finish here now, but as I said, not always that easy. And you can see us now on lap 29 on the last lap of the race, and we're getting chased down by Rogers, I think that is, and he was the one that I was most fearful of, because I knew he was the one that had the straight line speed, and he was pretty quick in qualifying as well. And I thought, geez, this guy's gonna catch me, and I'm just doing everything. Just within limits, not to drop it, but to just try and stay ahead of this guy. But obviously, with him having a penalty, he helped us out a lot. But still, I wanted to finish ahead of him on the track. I think Casey finished in front of us, and you can see Carl managed to win another race. So that's 2 races in a row for Carl, and maybe if he didn't have the bug at Dubai, that could have been 3 races in a row for Carl. So he's in some good form, but unfortunately for him, I think he's going to miss the next race, because I think he'll be working. Next race obviously being Road America. We've managed to hold off Rogers now, so we're just coming towards the last section of the lap. And I didn't really know how to feel after the race. I didn't know whether to be happy with the 6th or just be annoyed with myself for messing up quali, but probably a mixture of both. But coming into the last corner now, and yeah, we just take it really easy, and it's just, wow, what have I done? What have I done to my race? Absolutely nailed on in quali. Thought I'd at least get 4th in the grid, and yeah, we managed to just mess it all up. And yeah, at the end of the race, 6th position, and I mean, not the worst result in the world considering CJ only finished in 3rd position. He did, however, catch Ronaldo for 2nd. They had quite a good battle, but CJ ended up in 3rd position. I'm down there in 6th, so I've lost some points, but it's not a total catastrophe. And yeah, this is how the championship is looking at the moment, and you can see we're right there. We're still in there with a shout. I'm not going to say that I'm confident to be winning the championship or anything like that, because to be honest, I'm just taking everything race by race. Probably wasn't really expected to win the championship in the Renault, but it was a car that I felt comfortable in, and in the fact that I know I can get through races without making mistakes, which is pretty important on this game. As you can see, for CJ, he's had the speed in a lot of the races, but he's had some bad luck and obviously also some mistakes. But yeah, next race will be at Road America. Make sure you guys tune in on the Apex Online Racing on YouTube. You'll be able to watch the race live, and that'll be on Wednesday evening at 8 o'clock. So yeah, Cryptic TMG, peace.